What's good, Alabama fans? Chris Daughtery here, and you're watching the Alabama Football Report. Before we get into today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about recruiting today, but I want you guys, if you're not already, make sure you hit that sub button for me right now. We're trying to break last year's record for subscribers in the month of July. So last month, we got 377 subscribers. This month, right now, we're up to 261. So a little bit over 100 away. I think right now, if we close the gap, get about 40 subs on this video right now, I think that sets us up well to finish out the month of July, to beat July 2023. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed right now. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about a couple of recruits for Bama in this 2025 and in the 2026 class. Before the cold summer cookout coming up here on Sunday, that's going to be a really fun weekend for the Crimson Tide and a really, really big recruiting weekend for Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama staff. The first player that I want to talk about today on this list is none other than A.K. Deer. Remember, he was committed to Ole Miss for a little bit, but about a month ago, he decommitted from Ole Miss, and Alabama seems to be the team that that has to be beaten to get his commitment. He is a 2025 recruit, 4-star in this class, the number 33 player overall, and the number 2 running back in this class, the number 3 player from the state of Mississippi. Now, currently, right now, there is no commitment date for A.K. Deer. Like I said, he was committed to Ole Miss, decommitted. Now, we're kind of just waiting it out right now, but Bama Online has reported that it's going to be sooner rather than later, so, make sure you guys have your notifications on because you never know when A.K. Deer could make that announcement. And, there's been a lot of predictions to the Crimson Tide as well. So we'll see when that happens. We'll keep you guys locked in on A.K. Deer's commitment. So let me know in the comments section right now. It is your first chance to get interactive here on the Alabama Football Report. Do you guys think Alabama will land the number 2 running back in this class, A.K. Deer? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comment section. It is the pinned comment on today's show. So you know what that means. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. You don't want to watch that ad anyways. I know I never want to. Make sure you guys go down to the pinned comment and type Y for yes or N for no. Justus Terry, the next player coming up here on the list. He's a 2025 defensive lineman. And there's been a little back and forth when it comes to Justin Terry. If you remember, he was committed to Georgia, decommits from Georgia, flips to USC, and then about a month ago, he decommitted from USC. There was a lot of decommitments for USC, just last month, and Justus Terry was one of the bigger names on that list of decommitments for the Trojans. He is a 5-star recruit here in this 2025 class, the number 8 overall in the 247 Sports Composite rankings. So it takes account all the other sites as well. He's also the number 2 defensive lineman in this class and the number 2 player from the state of Georgia. Now, he did visit Alabama after he decommitted from USC back on June 21st. And so far right now, there are no planned visits, nothing else coming up. At the end of the month here this coming weekend, guys can start, taking visits again. And so far right now, Justus Terry does not have anything planned. Right now, there are some predictions for Justus Terry to commit to the Bulldogs, but we'll see what happens because Alabama is still up there on Justus Terry's list. The next player is actually an Alabama commit that we need to keep an eye on as well. Derick Smith, 2025 athlete. The Crimson Tide are recruiting him as a safety in this class. And there is a little bit of, is he going to stay committed to Alabama? There's been a lot of, chatter about a decommitment from Derick Smith. He is a 4-star recruit in this 2025 class, number 51 overall, the number 2 athlete. And like I said, Alabama is actually recruiting him to be a safety, plays a lot of wide receiver in high school. So that could be something that, he wants to continue playing wide receiver instead of making that switch over to safety. He's also the number 17 player from the state of Alabama. Now, Auburn is the team actually pressing him really hard to flip from the Crimson Tide. They've said that they want him as a wide receiver, so it's kind of going to be up in the air. Does he want to play safety? Does he want to play wide receiver? Guess we'll have to see. He will be in Auburn this coming Saturday for their Big Cat Weekend. It's kind of the same thing as Alabama's Cold Summer Cookout, which he'll also be attending on Sunday as well. So get in the comments for me right now, guys. What is the percent chance that you think Derick Smith will decommit from the Crimson Tide? Let me know. There's a lot of chatter going on, seeing if he will or not. We'll let you guys know if it happens, but let me know in the comment section right now. What is the percent chance that you think Derick Smith will decommit from the Crimson Tide? Today's show is presented by Game Time. I love the summertime because Major League Baseball is in full swing, and I love making that drive over to Atlanta for some Braves games every single chance I get. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. And with Alabama games now just over a month away, you can get tickets to watch the Crimson Tide. Game Time doesn't just have sporting events. They also have concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. Game Time has so many features that I really appreciate from a ticketing app. They have those zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time chooses the seats. They have killer last-minute deals, flash deals, views from your seats, and much, much more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The next player we're going to be looking at today is going to be Kalik Lockett, 2025 wide receiver. We've talked about him a lot here at the Alabama Football Report. He's a big-time target for the Crimson Tide. Alabama already has 2 wide receivers in this class, and they're fine if they don't get Kalik Lockett. Missed out on Derek Meadows this past weekend. He committed to LSU. But Kalik Lockett is one of those guys that they will not pass up if he decides he wants to commit to the Crimson Tide. He's a 5-star wide receiver, number 20 player overall, the number 5 wide receiver. All the way up, I've seen him as the number 2 wide receiver from 247's rankings as well. He's also the number 6 player from the state of Texas, and he will be committing on August 7th. So it's coming up here soon. He will be making that commitment, whether that's going to be Alabama or Texas. Those are really the top 2 names per Steve Wilfong, so we'll see what happens with Kalik Lockett. So I want to hear from you guys one more time in the comment section. Where do you think Kalik Lockett will commit to for the next 3 to 4 years playing college football? Will it be Alabama, type A in the comment section? If you think it's Texas, type T in the comment section for me right now. The last player we're going to be talking about today is Faison Brandon. I love the name. Really, really dope name. 2026 quarterback that Alabama's going after here, and he is one of the best quarterbacks in the 2026 class. 69% completion percentage just as a sophomore. That's really, really solid. He takes care of the ball. Only 3 interceptions in his sophomore season as well. And if you just look at the passing and rush yards right there, who does that remind you of? A little bit of Keelan Russell, a little bit, over 3,000 yards passing, 500 yards rushing, 45 total touchdowns as a sophomore. It's absolutely ridiculous, and this is one of the best players in that 2026 class. He is a 4-star recruit in that 2026 class, 31 overall. I've seen both On3 and 247 Sports has him as the number 1 quarterback in their rankings. Rivals, ESPN, kind of, lagging behind on that front as well. 247 Sports also has him as the number 1 overall player, so take note of that. He's the number 31 overall player in the Composite rankings. He visited the Crimson Tide for 3 days back, starting on June 21st, so he's been on campus very recently. But he does have a visit with Tennessee coming up. He will be visiting the Vols on July 27th, so coming up this weekend. His top 4 right now, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, and NC State, just being from North Carolina. got to throw one of the hometown schools in there anyways. Steve Wiltfong of On3 has put in a prediction for Faison Brandon, though, and it is with Tennessee. So we'll see what happens with Faison Brandon, one of the best quarterbacks in that 2026 class. He will be making that commitment on August 3rd. So make sure you are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. Turn those notifications on so you guys don't miss out.